Do you want to know how to save thousands buying your next car? The best thing you can do for yourself is to make sure you don't buy from a dealer. If you're happy to save some money aside for any issues that might go wrong, you can self-warrant your own car. Buying privately will be a much cheaper way of buying a car. Dealers charge a premium, mainly because they can offer warranties on cars, and obviously they have to look after you for up to 6 months after you've bought a car. Whereas if you buy privately, a private person doesn't have to worry about that, so you can buy from the general public and save yourself a few quid. The very first thing you're going to want to do to save yourself money, find out as much information as you can. Once you find a car and you inquire on it, you need to find out everything from the service history all the way down to the reason they're selling it and what they've previously been using the car for. The more information you can find out before you even go to see the car, the better. This allows you to set up the opportunity to start negotiating the price before you've even seen the car.
Here's what's going to happen. I am going to have to fix you.
You can find out any sort of small niggles you might have, or any patches in history, or any damage to the car, and you can use that to then negotiate yourself a better price. Take the opportunity whilst you're speaking to the owner to start asking things about the specific service intervals. Some cars have specifics on cam belt changes, spark plug changes, transmission oil changes. There's all these little service bits that a lot of people overlook, and you can use this to your advantage to then drive down the price when you come to negotiating the car. So now you've got all the information you need. Use the information that you've been given by the owner to start negotiating a price. Add up all your costs that you're going to spend on the car and use that to then negotiate yourself a reasonable offer. Giving the owner reasons as to why you're offering them what you're offering will make them much more willing to actually listen to your offer. Rather than hitting them with a lowball offer, asking them for thousands off, they're just not going to listen to you at all. You also have to make sure that you're prepared to hold your ground once you make the offer. The owner is obviously going to try to get as much as possible for their car before they sell it to you, and you have to be willing to walk away from the deal if you have to. What you have to remember as well, there's thousands of cars in the world. The car that you're looking at is not going to be the only one of its kind. There will be others out there. If you're willing to walk away from an offer, you're much more likely to get the price that you're asking for. Because the owner, at the end of the day, if you make your case right and you give them the reasons as to why you're asking for a discount, they're going to be much more willing to listen to you, and they're also going to want to sell the car to you, because when you give someone reasons as to why you think you should get the price that you're asking for, they're going to have it justified in their mind that actually the price that you're saying is the right price. You have to be able to make the case as well that you are the person that this seller wants to sell to. You're not going to be the person that's going to come back to them after you've bought the car and say, you've not mentioned this, you've not mentioned that. You really want to make them feel reassured that you're going to be someone that's going to look after their car as well, because any private buyer is going to want their car to go to someone that's going to look after it. Don't forget to smash that like button and hit subscribe to see more content like this. We've got plenty of car things going on for you to watch, so stay tuned, smash that subscribe button. You can also save yourself a lot of money if you do what's called a HPI check. This will basically tell you any background information on the car that might have been hidden, whether the car's got finance on it, or it's been categorized, which means that it's been written off in an accident, or even if it's stolen. You'll be able to find this out through a HPI check. This could save you thousands if someone's going to try to hide any information from you, and if they do, it means you can walk away from a car that would otherwise cost you a lot of money. Once you've actually finally managed to agree on a price with the owner, you can then set up a viewing to go out and see the car. Once you go and view the car, you're going to want to make sure that everything is as described to you. You're going to want to make sure any niggles or anything that's been pointed out are what they said they are and nothing worse. Check all the little bits in the car. You're going to want to make sure that all the buttons work as they should, the bodywork hasn't got any extra damage that it shouldn't otherwise have, and inspect anything that you can. If you have any small mechanical knowledge, check things like the brakes, the tyres, the wearable items that are going to eventually cost you down the road. The last thing you want to be doing is buying a car and spending money on it immediately that you weren't expecting to spend. If you do find anything that hasn't been mentioned, whether it's a patchy piece of information in the paperwork or whether it's actual physical damage to the car, you can use this to your advantage. Make sure that whilst the owner's with you, you make sure that they know that you have spotted that. Of course, you can use this to then ask for a further discount once you've finished your viewing. Make sure whilst you're looking at the car, get to know the owner, build a rapport with them. The more friendly you are with them, the more friendly they'll be with you, and then when it comes to negotiating a price, it will be much easier later down the line to then come to an agreement. The one thing that a lot of people make the mistake of when they are viewing a car is to start nitpicking the car and picking up on really small things that aren't actually that big of a deal. At the end of the day, you are buying a used car, you have to expect that there is going to be some wear and tear. So don't pick up on the things that are reasonable for its age or mileage. That's just going to end up making the owner not want to listen to any offers you're making and not want to sell their car to you. When you're trying to make a deal and come to an agreement with an owner of their car, you're going to want to be as polite as possible, be as friendly as you can, build a relationship with them. The first thing that will switch someone off is if you start being horrible to them or rude or just trying to make them feel bad about selling their car. Become friendly with them, it makes the whole conversation a hell of a lot easier to have. And you can really start to get the price that you're asking for. And if you're anything like me, you can look at some really horrible cars, and that's the best way to get a cheap car, is to look at cars that have the problems. If you've got the know-how on how to fix them, this can save you a hell of a lot of money, because a lot of people will be selling their cars because they don't want to deal with the problems that it currently has. And if you've got the know-how to fix it, you can make sure you factor it into your offer, take the car and take the time to fix it, and you'll have a hell of a lot more money in the bank. The one important point that I want to make is that you don't want to fall into the mistake that a lot of people get into when they start seeing cars. Do not buy the first car you see. There's not only going to be one of the type of car that you're seeing, there's going to be hundreds of them, whether they're available now or they're available in a few months' time. If you're willing to wait and you have the means to be able to wait, because you'll always find yourself a better deal. Number one tip that I can give is to wait at least 3 days before you make a purchase. After 3 days, if you think, oh, that's the right car for me, go for it. Normally when someone buys the first car they see, it's a guaranteed way to end up paying more money than you actually would have otherwise paid, because at the end of the day you've not given yourself the opportunity to see what other options are out there. This can also be used before you even start the negotiation process. When you're looking at cars, inquire on as many cars as you can. Set up conversations and start negotiating, and then whichever ones come back as the best offers, go ahead and set up viewings with them. Now, if you use all of the tips that I've shown you in this video, you're going to end up saving yourself a hell of a lot of money. You could even end up with thousands off of cars, and depending on what price bracket you're into, this could make a massive difference to the cash that you've got in the bank. If you enjoyed that video, click up here for another video and subscribe. We'll see you later. Peace.